coach's opinion on what he thinks of it. But
we already got the text message.
We're live. I haven't looked at my text yet, so you'll have to read it off to everybody. But we're live. Lil Larry, the coach, got the Dukes on. What is your nickname? I don't even know.
Duse.
Dukes?
Yeah, D-U-S-E. Last name's Dusenberry.
I like Dukes. I like adding the G.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
Easy going.
We'll get into it, but first, got to thank our viewers. Got Steve Harris 62 with the song, the
We're
Lil
gonna
Larry
talk about sports.
and the coach song.
We're gonna talk about sports. We're gonna talk about sports. Things like chicken wings. It's little Larry and the coach.
All right, rock and roll. So we got the dues on. We do, and so the questions are already rolling in. Why don't you have your Oshkosh gear on? Freaking TJ and I are twinsies on this chat.
Well, I've never been given any.
Yeah, well, it takes a trip. It takes a trip to Oshkosh to get it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to go there a couple years ago if you guys went to the national championship, but
The Stag Bowl. Well,
Stag Bowl.
let's get into it. So there's an article that came out today that said that there was NCAA violations against Marion Harding Baylor during the 2016 season, right, TJ?
Correct.
Which is the year that the Oshkosh Titans were the national runners-up to Marion Harding Baylor.
They lost 10-7.
They lost 10-7 in the national championship game. If it's upheld, they're going to have to give up their national title for that year, basically because the coach gave multiple athletes his car to borrow. Two of them. His car to borrow during the course of the year and the season. And
it was actually an 18-month time frame.
Yeah. So
that's a year and a half.
So that's a NCAA violation according to NCAA rules. Therefore, 3 years down the road, Oshkosh could be rewarded a national title.
But won't they just vacate that title? They usually don't award somebody a title that way.
That's what's awarded, is vacating the title. So, would you clear yourself as a national champion? Is the question.
Well, UCF would, or UFC.
True that.
They also lost to UC last weekend.
Yes, they did.
And that's a different story. But do you think the school would award the team, like bring back the 2016 roster, award them rings and act like they won a national title? If you're a coach, do you put that on your resume saying that you're national title winner? It feels dirty to me. I feel like you got beat, right? So it's like, and then 3 years later, they're like, no, you won. Even though it was like I could understand if they had like Cam Newton playing for them illegally or some shit, but they'd probably lose with Cam Newton, to be honest. But but anyways, I just feel like it's a dirty victory if they do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Do you want to hear the coach's response, Larry?
Yeah, I do. What was his thoughts on it?
Coach A. Archer's comment was, "Nothing changes. We lost, and their coach was letting people drive his car. Not saying it shouldn't be illegal, but it provided no competitive advantage."
Okay, so what does that mean?
No idea.
I think as a coach, what he's trying to say is they got beat fair and square, that by the coach allowing a couple players or however many to drive his car, it didn't make them that much better. That they were just better than Oshkosh that day.
Yeah.
It has no bearings on it.
Well, while we're sticking with the Oshkosh theme, they won this past Saturday. Big victory over UW Stout. Looked pretty good. One of the things that I was talking to the coach briefly about, I just asked this question. I said, with all this talk of the NFL, you start to see the pendulum swinging from that high-power offense back to like running the football and winning football games. You're seeing it with the Colts over Kansas City. You're seeing it with Ravens are doing it pretty well.
San
Francisco beat the brakes off the Browns. So there's a ton of Raiders are running the ball pretty well, and it's setting up the pass. So I said, and then I think one of their biggest things is it's keeping Patrick Mahomes off the field when you control the clock. Time of possession's key. And I said every coach wants to be well-rounded. You want to have a high-powered offense and the 2002 Ravens defense, right? But it's just not in the cards. So you got to have an identity. And I think that's one of the things that I asked Coach about. I said, from the offensive side, as an offense coordinator, you're like, let's be high-powered, let's score touchdowns. But you have a defensive head coach, right? So the defense head coach probably says, hey, we're a national title contender from the defensive side. So you need to slow down the play clock on the offense side of the ball, control the ball, and we'll win the games on defense. And then, so I said, so in your go back a whole season, what's your win-loss ratio with time of possession? And so far, he briefly looked. He said this year he's 3-1 when they win time of possession. The only time their only loss was when they lost time of possession, which is pretty interesting to think about. So it's up. How do you have that conversation? Dudes, get into what you do with the Newark Wildcats. So you're a high school football coach, right?
High school football coach. I'm the O-line coach. There's me and one other guy. We coach the O-line together, and then I'm quote unquote the offensive coordinator. So
yep.
On Friday, on Saturdays, Sundays, I'm doing game planning, and then with the other offensive coaches, and then Friday night I'm up in the box making the calls, working with Coach Franks, the head football coach, on that. And I think that's the one thing. The old saying, or at least what I've always been with, is an offense that can control the clock is the best defense. The other team can't score if they can't get their team on the field to score. And case in point, we're playing New Albany this weekend, and they're a wing T.
Hey, watch it. That's my hometown now.
They're a wing T, and they get 3 yards a pop.
Yeah.
Have a 10-minute drive and score. Well, now it puts pressure on the offense of the opposing team or us to, okay, we've got to answer it, because we might only get 4 or 5 series the entire ball game.
Exactly, and it totally throws off the rhythm of the offense too, because the coaching staff's not getting a good look at saying that last drive was literally in the first quarter, and now we're deep in the second. We're in a 2-minute warning because they had 2 good drives in a row that soaked up all the clock. Yeah, it's interesting to play that game of time of possession, because I think it's more important than people realize.
Yes, absolutely. Time of possession's a big thing.
What do you think? What's New Albany's coach had a heart attack earlier on in this year, right?
New Albany's did?
Yeah. Did you on the field? Did you not know this?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, first or second game of the year, he had a heart attack or a stroke.
Yeah.
During the
week 1.
Yeah, during the third quarter, he had to leave the game, or I think he might have finished, and then he went to the hospital afterwards. So I'm curious if he's back on the field or not.
I did not know that. I didn't know that until right now, that he had a heart attack or a stroke.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yes.
You'll have to fill us in afterwards after you guys get the W. What's your record this year?
Currently we're 0-6.
Yikers.
Yeah, we've we're new staff, trying to rebuild things up. The thing is, the kids are playing hard.
Yeah.
They're doing everything that Coach Franks and us coaches have asked them, and that's all you can do.
And you're no longer in the LLC, right? You guys kind of got removed because you're so big?
Yeah, Newark has never been part of the Licking County League.
Yeah.
The LCL, Leroy.
LCL.
Yeah.
All right.
LCL. When I was growing up, they were in the Buckeye Athletic Conference, I believe it was, with like Findlay and Marietta and Zanesville. They drove all over the state of Ohio to play. And then probably for the last 20 years, they've been in the OCC, the Ohio Capital Conference.
Yeah, and the reason they didn't join the LCL is, like I just said, they're the largest school in the county, right? So it kind of like you would just squash kids with or teams just because you have how many kids on your roster typically?
This year we have 9 through 12, 70 kids.
That's less than I would expect.
Yeah, here's the thing. Everybody thinks you got big numbers is the thing. I think 7 is a good number. You get too many, and it's manageable, and you start getting too many kids out there, then you get a bunch of kids screwing around during practice, not paying attention. It kills what you're doing.
Yep. One of the things that I've always wondered from the high school perspective is how many players, and we almost lost the coach as a friend because of this. How many good athletes that are coming up through Newark, they're like 9th or 10th grade year, or even before that, go to Catholic, get snatched up by Newark Catholic or a private school?
It's not as big as it used to be.
Yeah.
I think even when we were in school, you might have 1 or 2 kids you would lose, and not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I've never, like, the kids I played with from 7th grade on, because I went to Newark, we might have had 1 kid during that time, and he went there, and then he ended up not even playing football.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know my uncle, like, and this is dating back to the 90s, but he was with Licking Valley and went to Newark Catholic and played a couple years with Newark Catholic and eventually came back to Licking Valley. And it's just like, from a coaching standpoint, I'm like, that has to be rough, knowing that you're going to have like a stud starting running back or quarterback, and then all of a sudden Catholic kind of come up and just snatch them up at any point. Yeah. So, that's good that it doesn't happen that often. I know in wrestling, it's a bigger deal than it actually is. But, like, you have teams like, and it's not even because of your private school, but you have, on the top end of it, you have St. Paris Graham, who is nationally ranked every year, but they get talent from all across the country, and they win Division II state championships every year.
Yeah.
So, here's a question. So, I think you're facing the same question we've asked Coach A. Archer a time or two, and this comes in from Jay Halder 10. How do you rebuild a program? Coming from Lakewood, we were my 8th grade year, we were a playoff team. Then we got hit with the pay to play, $250. And I think our numbers dropped from like having that 70 to 90 number down to 23 kids my freshman year, with 13 of us being freshmen.
Oh, wow.
So we were really bad. So then I don't even know what our record was, but I know we went like 1-9, 0-10, something. I don't know. TJ probably has a better idea.
We won your senior year. We won 2.
2?
Beat Granville and Whitehall that year.
Yeah. And then literally since my freshman year, Lakewood's never recovered. So we're dating ourselves back like 15 years now.
Yeah.
Of just a terrible program, and they just haven't been able to rebuild. So how do you rebuild a program, and you're in that same situation now?
The first thing you got to do is the culture. You got to build a positive mindset culture. I mean, that's one thing that I've coached for Mike Golden. That's a Hall of Fame coach in Central Ohio.
So is Coach A. Archer.
Coached, I've coached for Bill Franks. I've coached for some, and even in South Carolina, I coached for a couple of guys down there that was their number one thing, was building the culture, making the kids accountable, and building the culture. And then the next biggest thing is convincing them or getting them to learn how to win. Yeah. Whether it's in the classroom every day, or whether it's, out in the community, win the day. And eventually those things will
carry over.
start taking over. And the one thing is we've been in some situations where we've had chances, and it just this year that the kids still for whatever reasons might not believe in themselves yet. And that's the one thing we've worked with, and that you've got to work with no matter where you're at, is once the kids learn or realize that they can do it, big things happen for you. And next year we're still in the OCC, but we go back in with Gahanna and Pick Central, Reynoldsburg, and just getting some early success in the non-conference will help us in the years to come. But the one thing is, I can just speak for us, those kids have really bought in.
Yeah.
So and you get a handful to buy in, and then in turn they start spreading it, and it just eventually it happens.
How much influence do you guys have coming up through the ranks of from Biddy League to junior high all the way up to high school?
Well, like this year, all of our Biddy programs are ran through our football program. So we go down and we have like clinics with the kids and the coaches. Once a week they practice, they play down at Whitefield. So we're pretty involved.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, is we're starting that at the lower levels, is teaching those kids the way of Newark football, the culture we want. And, hopefully, you want to win now for the seniors, because we got a good group of seniors that have really busted their butts this season.
Sure.
But I think we're laying the groundwork for the years to come.
Yeah. And that's like I said, one of the things that like TJ is able to turn around a program so quick with like the Settlers, and as well as the what you did last to first, right?
Kids got to go play though.
But exactly, but one of the things that you had with luck on your side is the recruiting aspect, right? You could recruit college kids, and then in college you're allowed to recruit to your scheme. So if you know that you're a pass heavy team, you're going to focus more on quick receivers and offensive line that could block the pass. But in high school, you have to build a scheme around what you have, what talent you have, right? So if you have skill players one year, or if you have a stud offensive line, right, you have to build around that. So does your scheme change year to year? Not year to year.
Change, but the principles of our offense stay the same. Like case in point, we came into the year thinking we were going to be a pro con, a pro style offense, and we're 2x2s. We're a lot of jet motion, things along that line. But a lot of our pro con concepts were still running out of the gun. So just because we're spread doesn't mean we've abandoned what we want to build ourselves on. That's like case in point, New Albany. Hell, it's probably been 15 years ago. Mike Golden left Watterson and then went to New Albany for a year, and he took the wing T there. Well, they've been running the wing T for 15 years now.
Yeah, they've shaped that culture.
Yeah, and though, they had about 6 years ago, they had Deron Lee that played linebacker for Ohio State as their starting quarterback, and they were a little bit more spread, but they still had those wing T concepts.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. You can't build a program and think you're going to switch your offense and defense philosophies every year. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. You got to be tried and true, because then you got to teach the kids. We had one of the offensive linemen, part of the reason why we were 0-10 every year, one of our offensive linemen only knew how to block 20 and 21 ISO. Outside of that, he was lost in translation. And he was lost on 20 and 21 ISO half the time.
And you had a tight end who held every play.
That's right. That's me. You know what? I was smashing records, though. I had like 1,000 yards receiving from tight end, but I also had 1,000 yards in holding. So, I'm boom or bust.
The Browns will take you.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
It's like fantasy football. You don't get penalized for holds on fantasy football, right?
True.
All you see is the yards and the touchdowns, baby.
Jesus.
So,
Oh my.
how many times have you had TJ on the sideline with you?
I've never had him on the sidelines. I've had him. I had him once.
We had you once in a game.
Yeah, Delaware was a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
On
then-
the CCW?
Yeah, on the CW.
Yeah.
Damn.
We played Marysville. 17-10 was the final.
17 to 10. How many times did you light into TJ's ass that night?
There might have been a couple times there should have been pass interference called, but we won't get into that.
Exactly. Let him play.
Let him live.
Yep.
All right, TJ. Well, GM. I'm sorry. I'm screwing this whole thing up. Get into this baseball talk. I know you're probably riding that high of the Dodgers losing, right?
Let's start with the NL then, since we're already going to talk about the Dodgers. First off, I don't know how Dodgers manager still has a job today. He is terrible at managing a game. You can't tell me he knew Clayton Kershaw was on E when he was throwing 89 miles per hour and he had a full entire bullpen to work with. He should have been canned today with no reasons at all. I mean, he should have been gone, but he may even still be gone later on.
Is it a different story, though? Like, if you knew that Tom Brady was a little banged up, but you're in a playoff game and you're like, hey, Tom, you're going to sit the bench?
That football's different than baseball. You would have other quarterbacks, needless to say, if you transition it to baseball, where he had a full entire bullpen to work with, and all he needed was 9 outs. But he crapped the bed, and little plug is, now I'm rooting for the Nats to win the whole thing, because my boy Tanner Rainey, who used to play for us, pitches for the Nationals. So
Name drop.
that's right.
With the GM, TJ Lyons.
That's right. He pitched 2 2/3 in that NLDS and got his shit canned once.
Well, there you go. Well, hey, at least you pitched in it. That's some big news.
Yeah. And
So
then
what's that say about Bryce Harper that he left the Nats and they made it to the ALCS?
Well, because they're right in the workhorses of Scherzer and what's his name, the second.
Yeah, I forget right off the top of my head right now.
But they have two stud pitchers.
Arms.
And then, but now they have young talent. That left the guy Ruiz or whatever, the left
Strasburg.
The
Thanks, Jay Holder.
The left that left fielder is a stud as well. He's like 22 that hit the walk-off in the wild card game. Dudes, are you a big baseball guy?
I follow it a little bit. Baseball is a little too long for me of a season.
Yeah, no shit. It is for most people.
Wasn't that guy that hit the walk-off Soto?
Yes.
Wasn't that his name?
Yeah. Raul Soto or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we jump over to the other NL series,
Okay.
which was god-awful Game 5.
Yeah.
That had to be demoralizing to sit in those stands in Atlanta and see 10 runs put on your ass in a half hour.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing.
How do you end a game
And
like
you
that?
can't tell me. And that's another bad managerial spot, and in my opinion. You had 2 pitchers work that whole entire first inning. That bullpen gate should have flung open after every 2 runs.
Yeah, but
It's a do-or-die game.
once bases are loaded, what are you going to throw out another guy with bases loaded
Yeah.
and just get rocked?
You got to try something.
Yeah. And then start throwing
Shit.
starters out there?
Yeah. I mean, it's a do-or-die game.
I mean, they had the worst of the worst, though. I mean, it's never been done before, but, like,
No.
you got to
It'll
be
never
thinking,
be done probably again.
it's crazy. 10 runs. And, like, as a fan, do you just leave the stadium or do you just go to the beer section and just start
I
getting
know
smashed?
a few people. I know a couple people through baseball and stuff where they had tickets down there going to Game 5 in Atlanta, and they were not there yet, and they had saw 4 runs already put up, so they sold their tickets for what they paid for them and went to the bar.
There you go.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
Smart moves.
As a Tribe fan, that I like watching the Braves get their ass kicked like that.
Amen to that.
About 97.
Yeah.
What are you watching right now, GM?
Baseball, bud.
We can tell. Do you want me to just take your camera off because you're not even watching the screen?
I'm trying to watch the camera and the screen, bud. All right.
The viewers think you're watching a goddamn ceiling fan just go around.
This is a sports talk show where I gotta stay on top of sports.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Sports Center where they just watch the teleprompter the whole time, or what?
No.
Exactly. They're looking at the camera like they need to be.
I'll turn off the TV then if you want me to.
No, you keep it on. You got them shifty eyes.
I don't care about Jay Halderton.
So, dudes, what
Yes.
sports do you like to watch? Obviously, football.
Football. I mean, I'll watch baseball. I mean, I might not follow it all season long. I'll see how, I like the Tribe and the Reds because they're in opposite leagues, so I can root for both Ohio teams there. I watch basketball a little bit, college basketball. I can't stand professional basketball.
Yep.
Amen to that.
I'm a big golf fan. I like sitting there on the couch on Sunday, sleepy Sundays, watch some golf.
There you go.
When I used to live in South Carolina, I got big into NASCAR, believe it or not.
TJ was a big NASCAR guy, weren't you?
Yeah.
Or are you
My
still?
boy Ricky Stenhouse, who drives that Fastenal Dodge 17, no longer going to be driving that Fastenal Dodge after this year, though.
Big news.
Yeah, he leaving Roush Fenway Racing. I forget the guy that's coming in. I forget his name.
Obviously, are you going to be on that bandwagon? Whoever's supporting the big Fastenal car.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
always
that's who I gotta
now? Is it always 17, or does the driver take the number with him?
Driver takes the number with him, so we'll change the numbers too.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
So, yep.
What about MMA? Do you like MMA at all?
I watch it every once in a while.
Some craziness this week in MMA. So, Joanna Jacek, I can't even say her name. Joanna is her name. She's fighting Michelle Watterson. And on a week notice, she knew she was overweight. She had a week to make weight for this title fight. Not a title fight, just for like the number one contender. She doesn't make weight, and then people are mad at the opponent, Michelle Watterson, for not taking the fight at a catch weight. And I'm like, the chick didn't make weight. Why are you mad at the one that did make weight? She did her job. So that's a little crazy, but. We can stay. Let's real quick, TJ. Let's go back to the AL. I mean, the AL is not even going to be fun. The last thing I want is to watch the Yankees win. Anybody but the Yankees.
Obviously, Houston's winning 4-1 right now in top of the fifth. So, I think Houston will be winning this series and moving on, and hope to God they can beat the Yankees.
I mean, Yankees just steamrolled them.
Yeah, I thought the Twins were going to be able to give them one game at least. Obviously, seeing the Twins quite a bit playing the Indians this past year. I mean, the Twins are dangerous. They're young. They got some pitching. And I thought they would at least get them one game, but that didn't happen.
So who do you see coming out? So you got the Cards and the Nationals. You got Nationals going to World Series?
Yeah. I'd have the Nationals coming out of the NL. Because they have home field as well.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because they were the higher.
No, they were the wild card team.
Yeah, sorry, they were the wild card. So yeah, the Cardinals have home field. My apologies. But I would say that I would like the Nationals to come out. Obviously, I think it would be even series. So we'll see, and hopefully Houston can steamroll the Yanks.
Yeah, I don't care who wins at this point, as long as it's not the goddamn Yankees, because I just don't even watch their games.
The bad thing about the Astros right now is Verlander has been rocked twice.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
But he shows up in big moments.
He's never shown up in big-time clutch once. He's only shown up like a couple times. He usually falters in the postseason like, what's his name? Shoot, I forget.
What
Whoever.
sport?
Kershaw, sorry.
Okay.
Kershaw always fails now in the postseason. Jesus.
Yeah. So then Dudes, I got a big ask of you. What I need from you is we're 23 followers away from getting this, getting authorized by Twitch here. I know your football team. You got 70 cats on your team. If you can get a third of them to follow Lil Larry and the coach and watch this episode with their coach,
Oh God,
that would be big. That would be big for us.
I'll see what I can do.
So let's dive into the AFC North, Larry.
Okay.
Let's get Coach Doozy's opinion on this.
Well, first off, the Steelers pretty much submitted themselves as the joke of the league now because they can't get a fucking golf cart to work for a guy that's on a goddamn stretcher. That was a goddamn embarrassment.
Why didn't they put him on the stretcher and push him off the field?
They should have carried him off the field on the stretcher.
So supposedly what happened was after the cart was broke down, Mason Rudolph, in a fucking haze of a concussion, says, I want to walk off the field. Right there, the doctor should have been like, no, you dumb fuck. You literally look like an idiot because you got a helmet with no face mask on. You're knocked out cold on your feet.
Maybe the doctor should have been put in a concussion protocol.
No shit. So basically, they're like, okay, yeah, Mason, walk off. He stands up, not on his own power. They had to get linemen who aren't even playing in the game to pretty much wheel him off. At the same time, these linemen are crying because they thought like their quarterback literally just got murdered on the field. And it was like, what are we doing? It was one of the most embarrassing things ever. And then later on, one of the Ravens guys get injured. And look, there's a perfectly working golf cart that comes out and carries him off the field. It was unbelievable.
So is that your rant?
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry for the red card and the language, boys and girls, but sometimes you just got to let it fly. And that was my rant.
Just gotta let it go.
I mean, the game.
I think the Steelers need to sign Grant Russell, the Destroyers quarterback. I'm serious.
I thought I said it on
Charlie
Sunday.
Batch will be in town soon.
I said, at what point does the Steelers organization have the topic about Kaepernick?
To be honest with you, I thought the Jets would have signed him after week 2.
Yeah.
I really did, because they brought in some guy by the name of Lusk or something I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like the Steelers did. But to that kid's credit, he didn't play bad.
No, he played.
He had him in position to win.
Yeah, he played very well, and you know what? One of the things I enjoy most about the Steelers quarterback roster right now is you got Big Ben, which is future Hall of Famer or whatever. Then you have Mason Rudolph, who everybody thinks just uses the Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer stuff on. But then the guy from Samford, I forget his name right now, but everybody calls him Duck, which is a terrible name for a quarterback. However, it's hilarious because he's the 2015 world champion duck caller.
Nice. Where did Randy find him, wonder?
Do that after he throws a pass?
No. Everybody is, the Steelers are trying, if he's starting this week, there's when they come back home.
Will be in the duck calls.
Yeah, they want to bring either duck calls or they want to do the D3 Mighty Ducks quack 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 every time he comes out onto the field. So
that needs to be their cadence, the old duck call.
Yeah, but he is the NCAA leading passer from Samford. He has the most passing yards in the NCAA history. So the man could throw a ball. It's just it's pretty crazy. I thought they played very well. It was literally a bullshit call that lost them the game. That final drive, they sacked Lamar Jackson.
Did you see it, Doozy?
Yes.
So basically they hit him at the belt line, and then he slid down to the knees, and they called him for the low blow, roughing the passer for hitting below the waist.
Yeah.
And then that gave him a first down, which set him up for the field goal to take him into overtime. And then the fumble from Juju, which was an awesome hit from the Ravens guy. So you can't discredit that. So
textbooks.
Yeah. But what can you do? But I mean, the Browns are so fortunate to be in the position they are. Are you a Browns fan, Deuce?
Oh, I love my Browns. We're
Okay.
season ticket holders.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're in a great position to really suck, but going to still win the AFC North because the AFC North is bad.
The thing about the Browns, and everybody's kind of forgot about this, is Higgins, their one receiver. He's kind of been the last 2 years, first game of the season, I should say, because he's been injured, but he's been Baker's safety blanket.
Sure.
And he's coming back this week, or he's supposed to. So I'm interested to see.
Yeah, but what are they going to do with him? They already have too many mouths to feed, and then you got Kareem Hunt that has to go into the fit mold as well. Because you got to get Chubb his carries. I mean, I think he's the best player on the team right now.
Oh yeah, they have to feed Chubb. They got away from that too soon.
Jarvis Landry.
Need to cut Callaway. I mean,
Amen to that.
Stay off pot.
Yeah.
Get rid of him, and yeah, they'll be fine. And the other thing is you got to look at their schedule. I mean, with
cupcake. It's
Jets,
a cupcake schedule.
A cupcake schedule.
Yeah. So if they can make it out of New England, this is
games remaining?
First half of the season.
Okay. First half of the season.
He means the games we already played.
Tennessee, that was a playoff team. Jets are garbage. They might as well burn them.
Ravens,
which,
we
Ravens
played our lights out.
And then the Rams, that were a playoff team, 3-1. The 49ers are 4-0. This week they're playing the Seahawks at 3-1. And then
you got Denver and then New England.
5-0 because they're playing right now, and they're probably beating the Giants by 100 because I don't think the Giants have anybody healthy.
Yeah,
I'll give you a scoreboard update. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah,
see how bad it is.
Yeah. So, but one of the things they have going for them, right, is they have the Colts without Andrew Luck. The Colts are still damn good, but they have the Colts without Andrew Luck. They got to face the Jets without what's his name? Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And then you have the Steelers twice remaining with a third, could be a second or third string quarterback. And then Bengals are the joke of the NFL on top and they played the Dolphins.
Yeah, after this week or after next week against the Patriots, they got to bye next week. And then they play the Patriots. And then it's the Broncos, the Bills, which the Bills are, 4-1, 3-1?
Yeah, Bills have a pretty good defense.
Steelers, Dolphins, Steelers, which I think they'll split with the Steelers. I think they'll win that Thursday night game, get beat by them at Pittsburgh. Bengals, Cardinals, Ravens, Bengals. So if they
Cardinals, Ravens, Bengals. Yeah, it's a cupcake second half of the season.
Oh, yeah. And here, if they can beat the 49ers, and if they go 1-1 the next two, or 3-4 heading into the second half of the season, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. One thing that has to Baker Mayfield is definitely having a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
I don't know if they figured him out or if too many mouths to feed, like having to force the ball to OBJ or thinking that he can make a play, because if he has Jarvis Landry or OBJ and Callaway, all those guys, if they give him just a split more second to make a play, then they're going to get big yards. And I think that's where he's just trying to do too much.
Well, he's running for his fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah. The offensive line's not very good.
There's a rumor out there about OBJ trade to the Redskins for Trent Williams. What do you think?
I don't know about that. I think they could give up less and get Trent Williams.
Yeah, because
you could probably give him Callaway and couple draft picks.
So what did they give up to get OBJ? A first and 2/3?
First.
And we traded a couple picks on each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you guys have a first round draft pick this year?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
I thought that was the OBJ one.
No, OBJ was this year.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think
Yeah.
they gave 2 first rounds for him.
No, it was just this past year.
Yeah.
Because Dorsey was talking about that after the first round day. Yeah, so we have a first round this year coming up next year.
And it depends if the Browns think there's an offensive lineman in the first round that is worth,
Oh,
draft.
they'll unleash the draft and trade up.
Oh yeah, but if they don't feel like there's a first round pick, then they might as well dangle that out there and get Trent Williams. And then the other thing is and the defense has played pretty good until this week with a bunch of guys that were practice squad or not even in the league 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
heck, that one dude 2 weeks ago hadn't even practiced. And
Yeah.
he went out there and played.
Here's
and
my
an interception as well.
Here's my question to the Browns fans. So I imagine you guys were pretty pissed watching that Monday night game. And then, but did it not put a smile on your face when Nick Bosa sacked Baker Mayfield and then waved?
Can't stand Nick Bosa. He's dead to me.
But waved the flag and then planted it on Baker Mayfield?
I didn't have a problem with it, but the thing is how he said it's been sitting with him for 2 years type of thing. That loss should not be affecting you that long. You forget about it and you move on. It wasn't a national championship game. It was just a regular game in the shoe.
I mean, I would definitely hold on to a grudge as a defender. As a defender, you want to get something under your skin and then hold on to that grudge. That way, you just have that little extra oomph when hitting somebody.
And he didn't truly grab a flag and plant it. He just did the motion.
I think what the salty part is with a bunch of the Browns fans that are also Buckeye fans is everybody has brought up, well, he didn't play his senior year. But he was injured. So
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he hurt his hamstring.
I don't know about
groin,
that.
Right?
It's a hernia.
Yeah.
I have sources.
Oh.
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure he just faked it. If you were the number 1 draft pick, would you play your senior year?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, was it? Yeah. Either way, you're
like his brother.
Yeah, I'm sure he had really good insight from his brother, and his brother was like, "Yeah, just take it easy."
Yeah. Abdominal injury, my butt, T. Grimm.
Hey, that's fine with me. Chase Young got really, really good.
Well, yeah.
And the crazy thing is they've got like 3 or 4 other DNs that are just right. They're turning out DNs now.
We're DN university right now, and cornerback and DB university. We have a first rounder every year, and they keep getting better. Like if you look at we're so spoiled for defensive ends. Our last 4 defensive ends have been Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Sam Hubbard, and then now Chase Young.
Then they've got the kid from Olentangy-Orton, the Harrison kid.
Yep.
It's pretty good. And then they've got
I'll have him tomorrow night, boys.
Oh, you're going to...
They're bye this week.
No, they're not.
I thought
they have Olentangy this week.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Buckeyes.
No.
Yeah, so...
and then they've got a kid from Menor. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head that is a stud. He wears, and it's funny, I saw him on the sidelines last Saturday. He's wearing 97. So.
Yeah. They just keep cranking them out. And more power to the Bucs. I don't think there's a team right now that can hold a candle to us. The only way that we're going to lose this year is if we beat ourselves. Penn State.
True, dude?
I just hope Ryan Day doesn't get that. I know he's come out and said, I'm not going to the NFL, but when they dangle $20 million and a GM job, those guys jump for that crap.
But that's the thing. I said, what's like the incentive of going to the NFL? Because the NFL is just a carousel. Like unless you end up like at a really good organization.
You need a multi-year contract first off.
Well, even then they'll cut your ass. They don't give.
But
look
you're
at Jay
still
Gruden.
getting paid. You're still getting paid.
Of course, but you lose that. You lose that mystique about you. Like if you're at Ohio State or Alabama, you're there for life. Like if you really truly wanted to be.
Hell, the Browns were playing Charlie Wise for 10 years. Or something stupid like that.
I don't
Well,
think.
Charlie Wise was being paid by Kansas.
Four
Notre
teams. I think.
It was like 3 different colleges. He had like the what's
Yep.
the guy? The Mets.
Yeah, I know who you're
His
talking about.
contract.
The 23-year contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still gets paid like $1 million every year. It's such a that's the way I would do it if I was an athlete. I'd be like, pay me $1.5 million for the next 30 years,
Yeah.
and just be like, you're set for life, rather than getting it one lump sum and then you're gonna blow it on everything. Especially after watching that like Money 30 on 30. No, here we go. Halter's gonna chime in here. But it's Bobby. I'm trying to think of his name. It's not Bobby Batista. But
Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah.
Bobby
I was
Bonilla.
getting there.
And so either way, the Buckeyes they're pretty goddamn good. But so is
Do you think
Penn State.
anybody could beat them, Doozy? Or give us troubles?
Wisconsin
Alabama
twice.
and Oklahoma.
Alabama and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley has Oklahoma really good, going good.
That guy's pretty incredible, right? I mean, you got to think about it. Lincoln Riley has turned Jalen. What is his name?
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts into a stud, right? And then you come off of having the 2 former first-round draft picks, first pick of the
2
draft.
former Heismans.
Back-to-back Heisman #1 picks.
Yeah, you might even get a
Really
third.
easily could happen again this year. That Hurts could win the Heisman and be the #1 pick.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Because the Dolphins could be sitting there.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, there's your example, not Ryan Day. Like, Lincoln Riley has a better track record to the NFL, so it's like, would he stay in Oklahoma for life? Because he's pretty much, he's untouchable there now.
Well, you got to
does he
think
take
about
chance?
Day. Day used to be the 49ers quarterback coach. He got his start in the NFL and came to college. Lincoln Riley's been in college his entire career. So if I saw either one of the two was going, it'd be Ryan Day.
Yeah. TJ, what's your inside sources say about the Mike Tomlin, the Redskins plane showing up in the Pittsburgh airport?
That would be very. I heard some reports of the Redskins potentially offer him full control, which would be crazy to think about. But if I'm Tomlin, I'm saying adios.
But why? Why even take that chance? You've seen the track record. Like, is it just the control thing?
I would say the control thing, and knowing Big Ben only has 1, maybe 2 more years left.
So he knows he's jumping off of a burning ship, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I mean, just look what's around the Steelers. I mean, there's not many pieces left.
They're
And
loading.
we're-
They're loading.
Go to the Redskins where they have a quarterback very similar to Big Ben's stature on roster.
And 20
That's-
years younger.
Yeah,
Yep.
I do like the Haskins factor, which is that whole debacle going on in Washington is crazy to me. But
And the only team you got to compete with in that division is pretty much the Cowboys.
why? You think Philadelphia is on the downslope?
Yeah. And the Giants, don't even get me started on that hoopla.
Yeah.
That dude's a one-year wonder. And then if you look at the AFC North, I mean, you got Cleveland and Baltimore right there.
With young quarterbacks.
Yep. So I would jump ship if the Redskins are giving me full control and probably a hefty salary.
Well, I
But-
think the Steelers, like we were talking about that ebb and flow earlier, that pendulum swinging. So they've been loading up their defense, prepping for Big Ben's retirement, right? So they last week, 8 of the 11 starters on their defense was former first round draft picks. So you have like Fitzpatrick, that Minka Fitzpatrick they just got. You got Mark Barron. The only 3 that weren't are studs. You got Stephon Tuitt from Notre Dame, who's an absolute monster defensive end. Steve Nelson, which is their cornerback, and then
Cameron Hayward wasn't a number 1 pick,
Yes, he was.
was he?
From the Ohio State Buckeye. He's my favorite. Him and Shazier.
Did you see? Now Bush completely redeemed himself with the interception, but did you see when he jumped offside? Cameron Hayward flew out of his stance and had his fist clutched like he was ready to knock his ass out.
Well, yeah. I mean, Cam Hayward's a big dude, and he loves Steeler football, which makes because his dad played there, which I did not know.
I didn't know that
So
either. And then Devin Bush is from Michigan, so.
Yep. But Devin Bush is a
Michigan.
small dude. Have you ever seen? He's only 5'10", 230.
Yeah.
Which
He's got a motor, though.
What?
He's got a motor and can go.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely good at covering the tight ends and things coming out of the backfield. But I couldn't imagine like if Gronk still played. Like how do you can't pair him against Gronk 6'7" versus 5'10"? Like what are you supposed to do?
There's nobody that they can match ever with Gronk.
Well, yeah.
Anybody's team.
But like
The only guy close enough, but he was too old, would have been James Harrison. Because that man was a freak himself.
yeah.
He would just run out in the field and tackle him.
Yeah, he would get a flag. But you got like George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Gronk. Like I don't know what you're supposed to do against that. But how do you do that? How do you cover that? You know, Deuce?
Just hope that they catch a couple passes, but nothing big.
That's what's crazy to me is like tight ends are such a mismatch in the NFL because you there's literally nothing on the defensive side of the ball that matches a tight end. Maybe a defensive end, right?
I mean, that's what Baker's lived off the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
His seals.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he's always lived off of. Like last year, they ran double tight ends more than any team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then you think about college, you had Mark Andrews that plays for the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, well, is it Mark? I thought Mark Andrews went to the Raiders.
No, Mark Andrews is the Ravens' tight end.
Who was the stud that the Ravens let go that went to the Raiders? Who's lighting it up? He was on Hard Knocks, and he had like a drug problem and stuff, but he's clean now supposedly.
Just half the NFL.
What? I know.
Just half the NFL.
Don't even get me started on that conversation. NFL has become such a big, almost as big of a joke as the NBA in terms of, well, NBA has their own troubles with that Hong Kong shit that's going on. but
Hong Kong.
But it is. It's 100% right. But no, the NFL, like I think it's a one and done league. You can't tell me. Halter says it's the same as this. Just because I have to treat him like a 2-year-old and put him in timeout every once in a while when he starts popping off too hard. Darren Waller was the guy. Thank you for the name drop.
Thank you, Jay Halderton.
But anyways, the thing that pisses me off about the NFL, it needs to be a one done. You beat a woman, how in the fuck do you still have a job? If you get caught and for assault on a woman, or even like some of the other minor offenses like the Callaway stuff where it happens multiple times, like the Kareem Hunt,
Need to be done.
Yeah, like Kareem Hunt should have been gone. Tyreek Hill, like pretty much the whole Chiefs should have been done at one point or the other. Like I tried to make a fantasy football team this year of all women beaters. It's almost possible. I couldn't find a tight end. That's the only one. That's the only position.
Oh, if my money on a tight end would be Greg Olsen with the Panthers.
Greg Olsen's like the nicest guy ever.
Nah. To Miami.
That is true. He went. Yeah, I don't know if I could. Can I still draft Aaron Hernandez? Is he still on the fantasy roster, or is he gone?
I think he's gone now. Finally, off there.
Yeah, that's one of the crazy things about the Steelers too. Is like they're in a crappy spot because they're still paying Antonio Brown, or their money's locked up in the salary cap for Antonio Brown. Their money's still locked up for Ryan Shazier, and then you have all that money locked up for Big Ben. So literally 40% of their salary cap is tied up to 3 players, which is
I I wouldn't say it's tied up Big Ben because he would just redo his contract for him.
He already
every
said he
time.
would not.
He
said,
would.
He already said.
I don't think he's at the end of the career. He wants that money.
No kidding. He needs that other beach house. He has one on the East Coast. Needs one on the West Coast now.
Yes, he does have one on the East
He'll
Coast.
go to the bars and find his women.
Yeah, he just did a 2-year, $33 million contract, and so that was at the beginning of this year. So that money's tied up for another 2 years.
His house in Florida, the swimming pool is shaped as a number 7.
Look at that. How do you know this?
I got inside sources.
There you go. Well, I need you to find the inside sources about Coach Mike Tomlin.
I'll text the son tonight, see if he can get some info from his dad. I don't want to message Randy right now. He's not doing good.
Because if you want this podcast to pop off, we got to get some hot drops. That's how you get one.
I'm trying, bud. I'm not messaging Randy. He's not doing good right now.
That was one of the things about. Have you noticed that Bobby Carpenter hasn't been on ESPN lately?
I wonder why.
Why?
Because he's awful.
Golful?
Awful.
God awful, huh?
Yeah.
I thought he did a great job on like Get Up and things like that.
No, he's an idiot outside the sports commentating.
Well, that's what you have to be good at.
He's just
That's your job.
he's a moron.
If you're an idiot everywhere else, but you're a goddamn good sports commentator.
Dudes knows how he is on the sidelines. He's an asshole.
Oh, you play Lancaster, right?
Yeah, I played against him. We broke his leg my senior year.
Thank you.
But you coach against him now, right?
No, his dad is the head coach.
No, he coaches with him.
He wasn't there week 4 when we played him. At least I didn't see him.
Yeah,
The
you would have saw him. He would have been in the short shorts, the whole 9 yards.
GM said he's more of a mascot than a coach.
Amen.
I mean, you got to think though.
Well, at least they've done good for Lancaster. They finally put a turf field in down there.
Thank you.
Yeah, that and like Le'Veon Bell at Groveport.
All right, I
Gave them all that.
We got 2 hot takes for you. So number 1, it's before we go.
What the heck?
Oh,
What
hold
are
on.
these questions?
Yep, I did. That was not. I wouldn't say Jay Halter said that I played against another Ohio State Buckeye legend, Storm Klein. I guess he was a legend for all the wrong reasons, right? There's that
Yeah,
big.
he
He's
wasn't
been on
a
your
legend.
fantasy football team.
What?
When he had been on your fantasy football team, isn't that what he got in trouble for at Ohio State?
Smacking his girlfriend or something, and getting in trouble. Allegedly. So, but I totally forgot my questions. Oh, dudes. So number 1, at the end of the year, we're gonna have a coaching breakdown.
Oh my God! Please ask that question that just came across.
Yep, I will. We're gonna have the coach come back on, and he's gonna do a film breakdown of hopefully the Lakewood Lancers. But he needs access to what is it, Huddle? What do you guys use for?
Huddle.
Yeah. Do you have access to Lakewood's film?
I told you I can get access.
I could probably figure out a way to get a film.
Yeah. What about could we have you on as well? Because I'm sure you would love. I'm sure you would love to take some knowledge from a national, maybe by that time a national championship coach.
What?
On the
It would be
offensive side of the
the
ball.
other way around.
Oh, dude's gonna drop hot knowledge.
Yes.
On the coach.
Yes.
I would love to sit down. We'd have a nice. I'll set it up where we have the 4 corners showing, and then the film in the middle, and then you guys just Madden it up and draw lines of what's happening, where things are failing, yada yada yada. We'll break down some film for it's O line v O line. That would be a hell of a podcast. 4 hours just of a deep dive. And I'll have to buy you guys some. I'll buy you guys some lunch. Maybe we'll get some Lil Larry and the coach swag by that time.
There we go.
Get some lunch
I would rock
delivered
that
right in.
What?
I'd rock some Little Larry and the coach gear to teach in.
Does it have to be a T-shirt or a polo? What does it have to be?
T-shirt. I can wear a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Now, Natalie, on the other hand, we probably should get her a polo.
Yeah.
She needs dressed a little bit more professional.
That's true.
Talking about teaching, Larry, why don't you go ahead and ask him the question?
So how would you handle a senior in high school being in a freshman health class?
Well,
that happened
kind of
to me.
Say that. My student teaching, that happened to me. I had a senior in my freshman health class. I just teach them like they were freshmen.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I was a senior in freshman health. Because it was hysterical because like you're talking about puberty and all this stuff, and I walk in with a full-grown beard. I purposely did this. I
Where was the student teaching at?
Mohawk up in Seneca County.
Jay Halder was wondering if it was Lakewood.
No.
Yeah, by that time we're gonna have a nice round table. We'll have it everybody live. Maybe we'll do it at Don Edwards Field by that time. Huh?
Oh, God. Jesus, Trent.
How many
Larry.
Settlers games have you gone to in the past, dudes?
None.
I've never been to one.
Never been to one?
No.
So you don't have any Settler swag?
No, I don't have any Settler swag either.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
We're moving into what the herd now, right?
Yeah.
Fear the herd.
Now,
Doing the herd.
Rocking some gear this week, Settler gear.
There you go.
It's R.I.P.
Yeah, we'll need to do maybe for that. Now I'm starting to break it down with that coaches clinic that we're going to put on for Little Larry and the coach. We'll get a couple different coaches in here.
Coaches clinic.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We're going to get this broke down, and then we'll have some viewers in attendance. Kind of do like a
hey,
college
you
game
should
day.
get the party room at B-Dubs.
There we go.
Well, no. So that's one of the things I need to work on. So I'm the best man for Coach A. Archer's wedding this year.
I've heard that.
I'm responsible
That's scary.
for the bachelor party. So number one, he already told us that he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Doesn't want to. So I
wanted
said,
to go to Canada and fish.
Yeah. And TJ said, unless one of those fish suck my dick, I ain't going. Oh, can I say that?
Can we delete this pod tonight?
So,
oh my God.
Who's TJ? Who's TJ? We don't even know who that is.
Oh my God.
So anyways.
Wow.
So anyways, I told him I'd rent out a space at an Applebee's. He loves Applebee's. We'll do a space at Applebee's 2 hours, 7 to 9 p.m. I'll buy his first beer, and then we'll have him tucked in by 9:30.
You should take him to Vegas for the draft.
We tried to do that. This is literally what he told us. He told us that just because he's the last of our group of friends to get married, everybody wants to go all out for him. And I said, of course. Yeah. I don't understand what you want to do. So we're thinking spring training right now.
It has to be the last 2 weeks of February for some reason.
Yep. So it has to, because it interferes with here something. So as a high school coach, what's your weekly schedule look like in terms of hours put in for the football?
Hours.
Yeah.
We practice about 2.5 hours each day.
Say 3. Just round it up. 3.
So 3. So there's roughly 12 hours Monday through Thursday, and then Saturday
we're talking daily.
Do you guys
daily?
how much? How much do you break down film, like things like that?
I spend probably anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a day, Monday through Wednesday. I break it down film. I've got a rule: come Wednesday night, I don't turn the film back on for that week's opponent because
don't want to over strategize.
Well, then you start chasing the magical dragon. Like, oh, wait a minute, I'm seeing this. And then you go in Thursday's walkthrough with a completely different mindset, and then you get all screwed up.
Sure.
So, Larry, he said about 7.
So 7 hours total a day, Monday through Wednesday, and then kind of tone it down Thursday, and then obviously game day Friday, come back in Saturday, Sunday.
Yep. Saturday, I spend a lot of hours Saturday. I do a lot of my... a lot of it on my own, sitting here watching it as I'm watching college football.
Yeah, because the coach told us that he works about 18 to 20 hours a day.
I could see that in a college.
That's crazy to me.
I mean, especially when...
In Division 3?
Oh yeah,
More so than Division III because you don't have the GAs.
yeah, and I could see that in. I mean, you think about it, that's what they're getting paid to do. You know, they might teach a health class or a PE class, some of them, but the majority of them, it's they're just there to coach, and so got all the time in the day.
Larry, could you see Coach A. Archer teaching a health class?
Yeah, the man, before he chased the dream of coaching football, he was going to be a physical education major at Ohio State. I was there for that day, and I was there for him to kind of have to give himself he had a rough day that day, let's just say. So the story behind it is I think there was 30 kids selected for the PE education department at Ohio State. There was 33 people who signed up. Austin goes into this interview, and he's like, I'm going to nail it, 29-31 or something like that. Anyways, Coach A. Archer goes into this interview saying, I'm going to crush it. Don't worry about it. His mom's calling him every couple minutes, so nothing's out of the norm. But he's like, I'm going to kill it. Don't worry. So he comes back that day. I'm at his apartment about, I don't know, a half an hour after he gets back home. He gets a call saying, hey, sorry you didn't get selected. He was one of 3 people that didn't get selected for the physical education department at Ohio State. Wow. One of our subscribers, Jay Halter 10, knew one of the guys who did get selected. I'm pretty sure he dropped out of Ohio State because he was such a big drunk. Just total. So I don't understand how the coach. I don't know if he's just a terrible interviewer or what, but. Yeah, it was a rough time. So the man can teach. He has tried to teach before. That's how he got his start at Upper Arlington. He did his student teaching at Upper Arlington.
With Golden.
Yep, and then met the football coach there, and then that was his in to coaching.
We must have just missed each other at UA.
Oh, you were at UA?
I was at UA. Hold on.
He would have been like 2009, 2010, 11, probably somewhere around there.
Came in 12, 13.
Yeah, so he was probably the so
you probably came in right after he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they didn't care about Austin that much that they didn't even talk about him, huh?
No, never heard of him.
Yikers.
Larry, I've had Coach Golden twice since Austin left him.
Okay.
Well, since Coach A. Archer's left. And he's like, who's Austin?
Did you tell a possible national champion coach?
I tried.
Have you had him this year at Bexley?
Yes, I did, unfortunately.
Is there a coach that you do like? Through all these podcasts, you always complain about the coaches.
Yes, there are a few coaches I like.
Let's name drop some because you've ran everybody else through the mud.
I
Doug
really love
Dusenberry's probally number 1, right? You like him the best?
Yeah. I really love.
I'm in the box and he can't hear what I'm saying.
We're talking head coaches here, Larry. I really like Gahanna's coach, even though they're awful this year. He's a pretty good guy. I've had him pretty much every year except for this year. Coach Franks is a very nice guy. He has his ways. I really liked Coach Dobmeyer, even though he'll never get a chance again. And there was a couple other ones in there right off the top of my head. I forget. I usually don't have good memory of head coaches on the sideline.
Ryan Day, do you like him as a head coach?
Yeah, I've never had him, but sure.
Why have you never made the jump to college?
Because it'd be stupid because you have to know the right people and you have to blow the right people.
I'm pretty sure you're good at both of those. You're probably one of the best recruiters in Licking County.
And you got to be about $150.
I've seen you lately. You're slimming down.
Not that much. I could care less.
Well, I think little Larry will get you in the shape. He can start training you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Negative on that.
I'll be like Mac from Punch Out, bud. I'll just be pulling you around with the Tesla.
Negative on that. Because and you got to start Division 3, Division 2. It don't pay that much. It's awful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never had the dreams of going to the NFL, being a referee?
No, because those are lawyers.
All of them.
Yeah, pretty much lawyers and principals and
Yep.
some other bigwig people.
It's crazy to me that that's not a full-time job. You're literally working for an organization that's worth $13 billion, and you can't even hire full-time
the only
referees.
sport that I would think about ever doing would be baseball, but I've never got into that.
Have you ever umpired a game?
Huh?
Have you ever umpired a baseball game?
No.
I was a carded ref, umpire.
Coach A. Archer was too, and he got a piece of my mind in the Little League.
I think I had a JoJo game.
You probably did.
What is the do you like being behind the dish, or do you like being in the field, or is it a rotating thing? Are you on a team?
A lot of times you're partnered up with somebody.
And
So one game you'll do behind, and then the next one you'll do in the field.
What's better in your opinion? Do you like preference one or the other?
It just depends on what the pitching's like.
Good.
You got a couple pitchers that are dealing. It's an easy day behind the plate.
Yeah.
But if not, then you got to start opening up the strike zone, and
then you start getting coaches mad at you because that's
Not me.
not a strike.
the bleaching umpires.
I'll say I'd probably get myself. I give umpires and refs credit because I'd get myself in trouble. I'd probably knock one of the kids out or punch a coach. But because I would be like, look, buddy, your pitchers can't throw a goddamn strike to save their life. So I, even though this ball hit him, I'm calling him a strike because I'm trying to get out of here and make it at home before 10 o'clock. That's how I would handle it. I think I give credit to anybody who's a ref or a umpire. I side with them most of the time.
God bless your soul.
Even though I think the NFL pass interference review is total bullshit because they're clearly not overturning anything that's being called this year. Oh, that is a good question. Dudes, do you have any other references that joined the podcast? Anybody else that would be good on here? Maybe introduce. Now that you got one under your belt, I'm sure we're gonna have you on here again. People are gonna call for it.
I think we need to get Grant Russell on.
We get Grant. Destroyers quarterback.
You know him?
Yeah, I coach with him. I coached him my first go around at Newark before I left to go to UA, and then now he's one of our quarterback coaches. Him and Tanner Taylor, which is a Lakewood grad. Yep.
That would be badass to have Columbus Destroyers quarterback on. Do they still play at Nationwide?
Yes, yeah. Larry. Come on.
I would love to go to a game. When is their seasons?
It's already over.
There's spring season. Spring in the summer.
Yeah.
Larry, we'll get a media pass for one of those games, bud.
Yep. We're working on media passes for the Blue Jackets right now. Obviously, to the start of the season, it's going to be a rough one. They're not going to be. They're going to be average, which is the last thing you want to do. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Start the hashtag on Twitter, LLATC to the Destroyers.
Oh, cheesy.
Cheesy. So, yeah, very good. Yeah, how did we get a media pass to a Wildcats game?
Hell if I know.
Yeah? Can you get us onto the field?
Larry, you'd have to email Jeff Quackenbush.
Quackenbush.
You should let the GM do that. He's probably got a tie with him.
Well, I can't though because I referee on Friday nights.
Yeah, we can't have the coach. Or do you have any Thursday or Saturday games coming up?
Nope.
No, we play all Friday night games this year.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, you got anything else, GM? Deuce, you got anything? I'm sure we're gonna have you on again.
Nah, I don't have anything else.
Yeah. What do you think about the podcast? And B, would you come back on for a roundtable breakdown, film breakdown?
This is fun. This is fun.
What else?
I had Natalie Holder prepping me today.
Yeah.
There we go.
I haven't. I'm looking through our subscribers. I haven't seen you follow the podcast yet.
I don't even know what it's on.
Twitch.
I don't know what the hell Twitch is.
It's Twitch.
Natalie Holder can help you out tomorrow.
No, TJ,
Yeah,
GM. Right after this, I need you to go ahead and text message the dudes. Give them the twitch.tv/LLATC.
LLATC.
And then I need you to go into practice tomorrow. Say, hey, everybody has up downs for the loss last Friday, unless you go to LLATC.twitch.tv and hit that follow button.
Okay.
That's how you manage it right there, bud. Any shout outs before we adjourn?
Yeah, give a shout out to Jay Halter for sending his kid to preschool in his pajamas a couple times this year already.
Father of the year.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, little update for little Larry. I had a child myself this past Thursday, one of those little life events. We found out after it was born, it was a little boy. We named it Jet, so we got Jet Hammer.
1T.
1T.
His favorite pizza dudes is Jet's Pizza.
No.
Yeah.
Jet's Pizza is the worst pizza of all time.
Well, you should have named your kid that.
Mother-in-law already bought Jet's Pizza once. I almost threw up that night. It makes me sick every time. But
do you when you put him on your back, do you call him your jetpack?
You know what? We haven't gave him a middle name, but over the last week now, we've had more puns of that name than I've ever had. People said that middle name should be Son, so it's Jetson. None of these are good. We got the Jetpack.
I like the pack.
There's all kinds of them, so I'm not falling for any of them. However, this was more for Jay Halter 10. I know that his son is going to be approaching his second birthday soon. I thought it'd be a cool idea now that they're building this house or finishing this house in the next 3 or 4 years. that they
Hobbit house.
Yeah, the Hobbit house in the next 3 or 4 years. I think that they need to decorate his son's room in just a bunch of. Let me adjust your camera there, bud. They need to decorate his room in a bunch of just posters of women. Just get a pride as a 17, 18-year-old kid, just chicks in swimsuits and everything like that. How funny would that be if you just walked into a 2-year-old boy's room and it looks like a 17 or 18-year-old boy's room? I think it'd be there's some comedy in that. My wife did not chuckle at this at all.
Mike Halter would love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, next time the Halters go on vacation, maybe we should just go into their house and do it for them.
That's true. I mean, they have so much glass, we can just break it. Don't throw stones in a glass house. That's what they say. Halter is going to break that a time or two for sure.
Windows are coming soon, he said.
So let's go break them down, is what he's telling us. But all right, well, dudes, I appreciate coming on.
Absolutely.
You are our first special guest that's outside of the circle. So it was badass. We're definitely gonna have you back on. I would love to do a coach's circle, break down some film with you once we get the technology put up. Obviously, we're gonna have to work on your side because you have your laptop on its side right now, so that the camera's right. So that's something we're gonna have to figure out in the future. But yeah, I appreciate coming on, and for all the people out there, we're gonna take it away with Lil Larry and the Coach song. Thanks.
We're gonna talk about sports. Little Larry and the Coach. We're gonna talk about sports. Little Larry and the